What's up, everybody? Just wanted to hit this at the top. Would you be shocked if I told you I've actually recorded like 9 of these, and every time I'm like, no, that's no good, and I go back and delete it? This is sad. Sad. Anyway, just wanted to say thank you all so much for listening. Subscribe, rate, and review the podcast, please. Also, I am on Patreon now, patreon.com/Brennan Tassif. We got 2 different tiers. $5 tier gets you early episodes, and then also a bonus episode every month. And that bonus episode will be coming out shortly. And then the $15 tier will get you those things. Plus, if you are a $15 subscriber for 6 months, we'll have you on the show. We're going to do like a mini ex-drinking buddy episode with you. You would be officially become one of my drinking buddies. So just check all that stuff out. I really appreciate everyone listening. No producer notes this week. Everything is golden in this episode. Lots of shit to be talked. Lots of stories told. Thank you again for listening and enjoy the episode.
Grab me a beer and grab him a coke. We bout to sit for an hour, bullshit and tell jokes. And please don't mix it up, cause he done sobered up. Brandon T Comedy on your social media feeds. And Brandon Tassif is your ex-drinking buddy. Brandon Tassif is your ex-drinking buddy. Brandon Tassif is your ex-drinking buddy. Brandon Tassif is your ex-drinking buddy.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of Brennan Tassif is your ex-drinking buddy. I'm your host, Brennan Tassif. If you're new to the show, quick rundown of the show. One of my favorite things back when I was partying, drinking, doing drugs was to hang out with friends, talk shop, talk shit, just kind of relive some old drinking stories, party stories, getting in trouble stories. I'm sober now, coming up on 3 years sober, but that's still one of my favorite things to do. Every once in a while I'll do a solo show, but normally I will have a guest in so we can kind of go over some of their party stories, and today is no exception. I've got one of the kings of party stories in St. Augustine, very funny comedian.
Stop it.
Aaron Eades. What's up, man?
How's it going, Brennan?
It's going good, man. How are you doing?
Can't complain, man. Just day off, finally.
Well, that's awesome. Go ahead, plug everything up front. Social media, anything you got going on. Just let everybody know where they can find you.
Basically, I'm on Facebook at just Aaron Eades. You can find all of my stuff there. I pretty much plug all of my comedy shows there. Instagram is Eadstagram, EADES. Tagram. And then it's just my full name backwards on Twitter. So Aaron Eades backwards. It's like Sade Nora or something like that. So.
And you, so you're based out of St. Augustine. You and your beautiful girlfriend Courtney and Nick also run a show out here.
My beautiful girlfriends Courtney and Nick. Yeah, that we run a show here. Paper Route. It's definitely our baby, man. It's something that when we got into comedy about coming up on 3 years ago now, and we all started doing open mics at this place called Boca Bar, which has since shut down, but like that's where we all met and got started and whatnot. And then one night, Courtney and I went over to this. It was just a random thing that Paper Route was having. It was like a movie night or whatever.
Yeah, because they've got that big room in the back.
For sure. So they were like projecting a big movie. It was Lost Boys, I think, on the screen.
Classic.
So, yeah. So Courtney and I went to watch and hang out. And while we were in there, we were just like, damn, like this would be a perfect room for comedy. So we talked to the owner there, Greg Detra, who's an awesome guy. He's helped us out so much. I can't even express it. But, yeah, he was like, we're down to try it out. You know, let's pick a night, give it a shot. And the first night, dude, was like fucking
because it's become one of the, I mean, it's on a little bit of a hiatus right now with everything going on.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually just marked over a year since we've done a show, which really sucks. Because, I mean, we had done 16 shows in a row, and I don't think one had under like 50 people at it.
Yeah.
So those were all really awesome shows with great energy. It's something we've always wanted to do monthly too, to keep that energy there and not, let it die out doing.
Yeah. Well, and it was definitely, I remember doing that, and it was funny because it's one of those things like everyone talks about Paper Route because it was one of the best showcases that we had in a 50-mile radius.
Yeah, we're definitely bummed.
I know it's coming back.
We miss it a lot. We just don't want to push it too much to with everything going on right now, we don't want to make people uncomfortable. We want people to want to come to the show. We want people to want to be there and not be worried about showing up with the
absolutely.
Like, and I'm not trying to sound, cocky or anything, but just like with the amount of crowd that's normally there, I feel like people would worry about showing up. So.
No, for sure. So it's on a hiatus, but everyone who's listening, especially in the St. Augustine, Jacksonville area, keep your eyes out because it will be coming back here eventually.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, we're in talks with Greg right now, just trying to figure out the appropriate way to bring it back. We're thinking about only pre-sale tickets, table spacing and stuff like that.
Okay, that makes sense.
So, yeah, just trying to figure out the right way to do it and the right way that we could bring, still bring great comedians in there and get them paid the right way and everything.
Absolutely.
So that's something we really pride ourselves on, like, is being able to bring people in and really getting them paid what we think they deserve to be paid for a good showcase. So beautiful.
Well, so you mentioned it. You started comedy how long ago now? 3 years?
About
4 years?
3 years. It's coming up on 3 years. We'll be at 3 years like in like a month or two.
Which is insane to me because when I came back into I came back into comedy right around the time that you were starting, but because of Paper Route and we were also doing the show at Core Zone, RIP Core Zone Theater.
Oh, man.
But we were doing because all those shows were going on. I just assumed.
Dude, I see like I've been going through my Facebook memories lately, and I'll see like like year ago, 2 years ago, you were performing at Core Zone Theater, and I'm like, oh
yeah,
like
it was one of the casualties of everything going on.
That's such a big COVID loss for comedy, and I know it might not be as big to people that aren't directly from here, but man, in St. Augustine, like we don't have a lot of places to do comedy.
Yeah.
Like there's like Jackie Nights, which is a great room. Shout out to Jackie Nights. Always fun to do comedy there. Corazon was always awesome. And then, I mean, you got Paper Route besides that, and that's pretty much it. Like there's not a place like in St. Augustine right now that you can just really go do an open mic. Like you have to travel to Jacksonville or Daytona.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Because in Jacksonville, we've got mics. Yeah,
so,
we've got mics 5 nights a week. I know Daytona has 2 or 3 mics a week.
Yeah,
and then here, because we had
it's something that this town is really missing, and it's got a budding comedy scene. I mean, it did whenever before COVID hit, but like. It's something that honestly we have been kind of bent on starting up. We're just looking for the right place, but we'll figure that out. That's nothing I can say definitely right now.
No,
so.
I understand, but it's weird because I thought I had just assumed you had been in comedy so much longer because of the fact that you guys ran one of the most coveted rooms for comics in local scenes, but be it Daytona, Jacksonville, Orlando. Everyone wanted to do Paper Route, and that was your guys' baby. So when I first heard about you and met you guys and stuff, I was like, I just assumed you guys had been doing comedy for years.
Well, it was honestly a strike of luck, man. If I had to put it correctly, like our first showcase, Nick has known Christophe Jean for a while.
Yeah,
and he really told us a lot of the great comedians from around the area that we should be plugged in with and know and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and 2 of the names he said that he had told Nick that Nick relayed to me were Chris Buck and Brian Ziola. And I saw that week they were performing at Corazon, bringing Corazon back up. But anyways, I went to Corazon to see them perform. First time I ever met them. And that night I was like, do you guys, want to go grab a couple beers or something like that? And they were like, yeah, we'll come hang out. Little did I know that both of them don't even drink. Yeah. But I got a beer and they were both like, yeah, I'm good. And we just went outside and smoked cigarettes and talked forever. And that was after we had done our first showcase. So we hadn't even booked our second showcase yet.
Okay.
Our first showcase was Christoph. We had David Red was also on that one, who's awesome.
Yeah.
Local St. Augustine comedian. Love David Red to death. And then Chelsea Sadler was also on that one, who is a local music artist. She's great, but she was doing a lot of comedy at the time and had a very funny set. So she was on our showcase. But for that second one, I booked I was able to book Brian and Chris to do our show that night, and they like gave it a shot and came and did it, and it really just introduced us to so many more people.
Because if you have Brian and Buck, then everyone from Jacksonville.
And it was on our second showcase that we ever had. So like it was cool that we were able to book them and stuff like that. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like I even went to the show like with the like bookers like mentality. I was like, I'm gonna watch these guys, and like they're so good. Oh my god! Like,
okay.
And then after the show, it was like, cool. I got to talk to him, get him to do our show, you know. But now it's cool, man. Like I haven't seen Chris in a while, but every time we see each other, we pick it right up. And Brian, I've only seen a couple times over quarantine when I've done Hyperion, but he's a teddy bear.
Yeah, he's a big lovable guy. Been third or fourth episode of this show he was on. He had one of the most moving things, I clipped it, I've ever heard when it came to comedy. He talked about comedy as an art form, and he was like, when you go to see like a movie like The Revenant, you're not like, where like more bang bang guns, where are the explosives? He's like, but people treat comedy like that. They're like, where's all the silliness? He's like, it doesn't always have to be like that.
No.
Which to me, which actually segues perfectly into kind of your style of comedy, because you can get kind of dark.
Yeah, that's what I pride myself on.
Which is hilarious.
I like to hear groans as much as I like to hear laughs.
Yeah.
A lot of times. When I hear like a perfect mix of the two, I'm like, that's my heart just sings.
Yeah.
Like
because I've referenced it on the show. I obviously didn't burn it, but you have probably one of the funniest jokes about 9/11.
Yeah.
That I've ever heard. And I know I bring it up to people all the time when they're like, well, not everything's funny. I'm like, actually.
Yeah, man.
I beg to differ. I have a friend who would beg to differ.
I really like that I get mentioned in that light. That's cool.
Yeah. We bring it up all the time.
And I know that those things are tragic, and that a lot of the things that I try to talk about on stage are pretty fucked up things, and it's not so that people will like pay attention for me or for shock value. It's because I think it's cool to kind of try to take those things and bend them into funny. Like
absolutely.
It's those are things that are tragic for a lot of people, and that are I'm not saying 9/11's tragic for everybody. That's more tragic for like the things the people that it happened to. As a country, it happened to us, but at this point, a lot of people are. It's not as close to them as it was. You know? So that joke's not pulling at people's heartstrings as much as like when I make a joke about like suicide or make a joke about like school shootings or something like that. But like
another great joke that you
but those jokes I love to make because those are big social issues right now, and it's good to be able to laugh at them in a sense and look at them in a positive light and think this is a bad thing, but there's ways that you can look at it that can make you not think about it in such a bad way, I guess.
Yeah, and I completely agree with that because my style of comedy is similar, but instead of talking about, like you're saying, broader social issues, I focus more on specific individual things that have happened. But you talk about, it's that same kind of like, we're gonna make this funny. I know no one here thinks this can be funny. Yeah. But we're gonna try and make it funny, and that's the challenge of it, which is a lot of fun too.
And religion, I like talking about too.
Yeah,
because that you can instantly spot the people when you go up on stage that it's like, ooh, I can't wait to make this joke about Jesus because that's gonna rub this person the wrong way just a little bit. But
and it's the joke.
My favorite is I keep my eyes on them because it's like, it's going to rub you the wrong way, but at the end, you're going to laugh at it.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and if you really think about it, because I know some of your religious jokes, it's not even, you would think, because
it's not sacrilegious. It's more of like an observation.
Exactly. And that's what I was going to say is it's not, if you actually listen, because the thing that I run into, and I'm sure you've run into this too, is I've got certain jokes about things that have happened to me. And when I tell those, and I'm a storyteller, so when I tell those stories, a lot of times people will hear one thing, and then they don't hear the rest of the story. Yeah. So, like, I have a joke about being in jail and the Tyrone thing. And, like, we're friends on Facebook. I've known him forever. But people hear me talking about, oh, why does it have to be a black person that you're talking to? Yeah. Is that because you're in jail? It's like, no, because this happened.
Yeah,
but they get so hung up on that detail.
I think probably, like, the thing that would bother a lot of people is, like, the name Tyrone. Like, it's stereotypical, but if that's the guy's name, that's the guy's name. And you're pulling from your
when I tell the whole story,
like,
it's... It has nothing to do black, white, it has nothing to do with any of that.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing because you have some religious jokes that if you listen to the whole joke, it's not blasphemous or sacrilegious at all. It's an observation about...
I'm not saying he didn't exist. I'm just saying...
In fact, you're doing quite the opposite.
Like, what if maybe Joseph worked on his cross? You know, he's a carpenter. Yeah, and so that's all. Yeah, like, I won't give the whole thing away. Come watch me perform sometime, but that's a little gist.
A little taste. So the one thing I know about you... just from following you on social media and being your friend now for a few years, is you like to party. You get down.
Most definitely. Yeah. I've been a bartender now for the last 4 years, which is definitely up to my alcohol intake tolerance.
Yeah, because it might seem unassuming because you talk softly on the mic. Yeah. Whenever you do a show, you always sit and cross your legs and kind of talk soft.
I'm pretty relaxed. I was very wired as a child. I think I got all of my energy out when I was younger.
That's a good way to
I
put
was ADHD and all that.
Yeah.
So I just kind of drink my whiskey and smoke some pot and hang out when I'm off when I'm not working. So,
but you also, so you like to party. You also are an incredibly big Jacksonville Jaguars fan.
Definitely.
You're just a sports fan in general, though.
Yeah,
correct?
yeah. I mean, all sports. If there's something on that's sports, I like to watch it.
Okay.
When I'm working my bar, that's what's going to be on TV.
Yeah, sports,
if somebody wants something that's not sports on, like hockey or... Yeah. Then
or golf.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, because you and I connected over sports because I know you're a big fan, and I know we've gotten into conversations about the Jags and basketball and all sorts of stuff.
For sure.
I wanted to bring the reason I bring that up is because you said we were talking about doing the show, and the one thing I really wanted to get into off rip, because we talk about violence and fighting a lot on this. You had mentioned a story about something that happened. Just set it up, because you know what I'm talking about. Set the whole thing up.
Okay. So when this was when I was in high school, a guy that played defensive end on our team. I won't drop names because they're buddies of mine. And if anybody that I went to high school with hears this, they'll know who I'm talking about. But anyways, this guy was a defensive end on our team. He was like one of the baddest motherfuckers on the team. Got a lot of like personal fouls. Made a lot of stupid plays, but when he wasn't, he was a monster.
Yeah.
Always making plays, always in the mix. And so one day at practice, him and this guy got into a argument, who was a second team linebacker at the time, and he kind of picked a fight with him. Well, he didn't know that this dude was MMA fighter on the side.
Really?
Yeah, so
the second team linebacker was the guy who fought. Was he a big guy, or was he?
He was. I mean, he had a little bit of stack to him. Like he was stout, but I mean, he wasn't.
He's nothing. You would
he
be
wasn't
like,
six.
I gotta watch.
He wasn't this guy. He was you didn't look at him and be like, yeah, he would beat the shit out of this guy. No way. You completely figure it would go the other way. But yeah, he like took him down and put him in a crazy hold in front of like the whole entire team.
Was this at practice? Like in the middle of practice?
In the middle
they're still
of
wearing
practice.
pads and everything.
Everything. Yeah.
He took him down.
Yeah, they both like took their helmets off and he just like completely beat the shit out of him in front of everybody, and it totally like. It was kind of funny because it was like at a time when we were kind of getting towards the playoffs, and it really like humbled and leveled the entire team.
Oh,
the guy that was off the Richter a little bit. Yeah, he was a little more drawn back after that.
Yeah.
He was a little more humble and kind of making plays the right way instead of
It's a learning lesson.
Pulling somebody down horse collar out of bounds.
Yeah.
I remember him doing that specifically.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny how violence, violence is frowned upon, obviously, for a lot of reasons. But I tell people all the time, like, the people who talk the most shit are the people who've never been punched in the face for talking shit.
Exactly, yeah. And
like, I've been in enough fights to where
I don't pride myself on being like a badass or anything like that, but I'm not somebody who's just going to be like, talked down to.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when you get in somebody's face, they will really level.
Yeah, immediately. Yeah, once they realize there's actual stakes, they kind of. We had a similar thing in high school where these. We had this little. I won't say names. That's a good idea. But we had a guy who played corner, so he's really small. And we had this other dude who played defensive tackle, defensive end, was going D1. Like, it's a 6A school, too. So, like, some of our players were, like, players. Yeah. And I remember I was a freshman, so I just remember hearing the story. But this defensive lineman would literally pull his dick out of his pants during practice. And when everyone was taking a knee on the sideline, he'd sneak up behind you and he'd put his dick on your shoulder pads. And then he'd go, hey, man, hey. And when you turn, there's like a dick in your face.
Yeah, that was high school football for sure. That was...
But he did it one time to this corner who grew up in Daytona, like grew up like in a rough area. He did it to him. And the corner's a third, like literally, like less than half of his size, like small. Yeah. And this dude's like 6'4", like 310. Mm-hmm. The cornerback got up, took his helmet off, and smashed this dude across. He had his helmet off. Smashed this dude across the head with his helmet. And the other dude wasn't wearing a helmet either.
Fuck, bro.
And I was like,
Myles Garrett shit.
Yeah. But it's like we're talking about. It's like, you fuck with people.
You ever play Blitz the League?
No, what's
back
that?
in the day, bro.
Oh yeah.
Bro, the Blitz game where it was just like all like made up teams, but they could like take steroids and like break bones. And,
I remember that.
Yeah, bro, that game was.
That's exactly what it was from.
Quick plug: if you've never played Blitz the League, look it up, find it. PlayStation 2 game, one of the greatest football games ever made of all time. It's like Grand Theft Auto and football mixed all in one. It's amazing.
I remember that game. That game was fun. It was like something straight out of that game.
Yeah.
But it goes to your point where like you mess with certain people and it's like, oh, that was the wrong person to fuck with.
Yes, definitely. There's people that just have that click sometimes that you don't
and
understand.
And it's always people you don't expect.
Yeah, they're quiet. It's the quiet ones, bro.
You always have to look out for the quiet
don't poke
ones.
the bear.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But you said you do a lot of your partying at Jags games, tailgating and stuff like that. Are you a season ticket holder? How long have you been doing that?
I have been a season ticket holder since 2016. I did not have season tickets last year. I didn't get season tickets last year during the whole COVID crisis because it was 20%. I mean, that's about what we got normally anyways. But, I didn't want to go to the games at 20%. So I have already renewed my season tickets for this year. Herbs in town. Trevor Lawrence is crossing my fingers coming to town. So
we have to take him. There's no way we don't.
If we don't, I'll return my deposit. So it's at that point.
You hear that, Tony?
So if we don't take Trevor Lawrence, my deposit's going back. But so I would say my most memorable party story at a Jags game in 2017 when we made our big run. I had season tickets that year.
Oh, that's an awesome time.
Yeah. So
is that when you got the tattoo?
So I did, yeah, I got it that year, but I've been a Jags fan. Like, I don't want it to seem like I got it like, during our big run in 2017. Like, my first Jags game was in 1999. We played the Broncos on Monday Night Football, and Mike Hollis kicked a game-winning field goal.
Damn, how old were you at that game?
I was 8 years old.
I was gonna say,
I moved to Florida when I was 5 from Arkansas. So yeah, but
that explains so much. You're originally from Arkansas.
Woo Pig Suey, dude. I'm telling you, we're in the Sweet 16 right now. The Hogs are making a splash.
Really?
I'm telling you. Yeah.
I didn't even know you were from. I just assumed.
Where's my shit? Hold on. I know nobody can see this.
For everyone listening, the tattoo I'm talking about is Aaron has an old school Jacksonville Jaguars logo tattooed on his arm, his forearm, and he also has an Arkansas Razorback hog hat.
Yes, yeah, that's what's on right now. Yeah. We're in the Sweet 16.
Damn.
It's a big year for us.
You're just killing it. I didn't even realize you were from out of state.
Yeah,
I just assumed you grew up in Jacksonville.
So yeah, I'm from Arkansas. They're a college team. They're definitely my number 2 college team, but behind the Florida Gators. And then Jags, I've been a fan of since I knew what NFL football was. Essentially. But yeah, my first game was back in like '99. But yeah, in 17, that was definitely my biggest party story when we were, I've got tickets with a couple good buddies of mine. And, for that game, so we got all together at like 9 in the morning. The game was at like 1. It was
Yeah.
pretty cold, which is rare for a Jags game.
Yeah, normally it's like 100.
Because normally we're not playing that late in the year too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, good point.
But yeah, we all got together at like 9 in the morning, and we took like 40 milligram Adderalls. So like the big boys. Yeah. So we were very wired for the game and ready to go, pumped up, and just drank ourselves like into oblivion. So
you see, this is something that I learned in college was if I ever took Adderall, it was very difficult to drink because I already drank a lot. And then if I took Adderall and tried to drink on top of it, I'd be like, this isn't doing anything.
I think it's different for everybody because when I take Adderall, like I drink light beer like it's water. Like give me a Miller Lite and I will just destroy them all day.
Yeah, because it's...
That's all I drink.
Okay.
So, yeah, like when I go to the Jags games, I drink Miller Lite or I drink gin and tonic. That's it. But so that day, we're sitting in the stands, and I'm a big pot smoker. Like I smoke a lot of pot, and I'm thinking like, damn, I'm gonna be at this game all day, and I'm not gonna be able to smoke pot. Like I'm gonna start crashing. Like if I can't smoke a little pot, that's how much pot I smoke, regrettably. But like. So we're sitting in the stands, and I look down, and about 10 rows in front of me, I see this guy hitting what I know is a weed pen. A qualified weed smoker knows a weed pen from a tobacco vape. Okay. Yeah. So
you can just see it.
So I see him smoking it, and I walk right up to this guy, and I'm doing pretty well at this point. Like it's, this is during busy season as a bartender. We just got out of like, December, January. This is playoff season. Yeah. So we're making good money at this point. You're a service industry guy. Yeah. So, I walk right up to this guy and I go, "Hey man, I'll give you $100 right now for that entire weed pen setup." And he just hands it to me, and I gave him $100.
Damn.
Yeah. And so I took the weed pen right back to my seat, and me and my buddies smoked weed out of a weed pen for the rest of the game while we were getting hammered. And it's definitely the longest Snapchat story that I've ever posted in my entire life. I can send it to you after we're done or whatever. It's about 5 minutes worth of Snapchat story from that game, and I remember almost none of it. It's damn. like there's literally parts where I'm like interviewing people after the game, like, "We won a playoff game. How do you feel about winning the playoff game?" And I'm like,
"Oh, really?"
Yeah, bro. It's like I'm like standing in the line to go piss in the bathroom and like talking to people in line about how they feel about the game. Like,
are people like responding or like?
Oh yeah, they're like, "Yeah, man, been a Jags fan for so long, bro."
Well, yeah, they're probably as wasted as you are.
Oh, bro, it was one of the best days in Jacksonville Jaguars history. I mean, it's one of our, can count on one hand home playoff wins.
Yeah.
So it's
home playoff games, period. And
yeah,
but
home playoff wins. It was super special to be
that
there. And
was against Tyrod Taylor and the Buffalo Bills.
Yes, Jalen Ramsey, God rest his soul. He made a game winning. He made a game-winning interception, against Nathan Peterman from the Bartram Trail Bears. Fuck them, go Jackets, St. Augustine High School. But yeah,
he's from a rival high school.
Nathan Peterman, who was from a rival high school of mine, was the quarterback for the Buffalo Bills at that point, and threw us a dime game-winning interception. We moved on to the next round, and
because Tyrod didn't play, or he got bounced from the game, or
well, Tyrod got hurt.
That's what it was. Okay.
Which is a common theme in his career, and then. Next round, we beat the Steelers, which we are the only team ever to have beat the Steelers at home twice in a year, and we've done it 2 times. We did it in 2007, and we did it in 2017. We did it whenever Garrard made the 30-yard run on like 4th and 1. Yeah, way back in the day. God. So that was huge, but yeah, that was a huge run, man. It was cool to be at pretty much every game that year. I missed like one game, I think.
Oh, so really?
That was
work's cool about you taking off and stuff. Or?
Yeah, I actually get Sundays off during the season. I rotate with another one of our managers. He works on he works Sundays off season, and he works Sundays during season. I work Sundays off season.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, that works out perfect.
So I mean, I work more Sundays, but for me to get Sundays off during the season, it works for me.
Yeah,
So,
it's worth it.
Yeah, and if it extends to playoff times, which it normally doesn't, he's got my back on that too.
Well, and it's cool too, or not cool. It's actually ironic, I guess, because I remember we ended up losing to the Patriots.
Yeah.
And then the next year, it was like the third game of the season. We beat the Patriots.
That's the one where I think I showed you the video right before the show where I roundhoused the Miller Lite.
Yeah, that was from that game.
Yeah, I roundhoused the Miller Lite off my buddy's head before that game.
Where do you guys? Did you guys just tail? So you get there?
Lot J.
Okay,
No,
yeah.
sorry, Lot E.
Lot E?
Yeah, Lot E.
I was gonna
E
say
for
Lot
Eades.
J. I've tailgated there before.
Yeah.
That one's nuts.
E for Eades. That's what I always remember.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's selfish, but that's how I remember it.
So do you guys? You said it started around 9 a.m. Do you start at the house?
So
and then
we
go
start at
up,
the
or-
house and then ride up. So it's ironically enough, my buddy's uncle is a father in a church in town, and and he drives us. He drives us up, which it's super cool. We call him the Pope, and yeah, I'm not going to drop any names, because but yeah, we call him the Pope. He's awesome. Yeah, he takes us up to every game. We fucking always have a good time. Sometimes we get a little too drunk for his liking, I would say.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I mean, he parties with us too. Sometimes, he just never gets too
Crazy.
torn up to drive home.
Yeah.
But one thing I will say is the Pope was like, playoff win at home, Ruth Chris on me, like we're all going, and it was me, and two buddies of mine. One is his nephew, and then him. So 4 of us, and he was fronting the whole bill.
Oh wow.
And I ate like half a steak and took like 3 sips out of a Manhattan, and I just could not deal anymore.
Oh,
Like,
really?
I
You were just
literally,
done?
I just like couldn't eat. And I was like, I need to lay down, like basically, like I crashed all at like one point. So like I literally just went and like slept in the car.
Oh, shit.
For like, I forgot this part of the story. I slept in the car for like 45 minutes till they were done with dinner, and I felt like super bad, but I would have felt way worse if I like puked all over the
I was
table
gonna
at
say
Ruth
that,
Chris. Yeah.
You'd be shocked how
We were
often-
actually like 3 of the Jags offensive linemen were sitting at the table like right next to us.
Yeah.
And it was cool because I was super fucked up, but I got to like shake their hands and be like, great win, guys. Good luck next week. And then
Yeah.
they beat the Steelers next
That's
week, which was
awesome.
sweet, man.
The cool thing about working
we
downtown
low key
is
own
we
the
get to-
Steelers. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. But
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, it was crazy when I used to work across the river at Morton's. We took care of the Steelers all the time because
Yeah.
they stayed at the Hyatt. So like 2 years in a row, I took care of like the entire defense. Joey Porter, like Ryan Shazier, like all those guys were in there and stuff.
Ryan Shazier. Yeah, man, that's a tough one. It's tough to talk about, bro.
Oh yeah, but, I mean he's doing real well. He works for the Ringer now as like he does.
It's he's doing real well, but he probably would have been a legend.
Yeah.
He
that's true.
was definitely
injury.
it
And
happens.
especially if
Gotta
you watch the hit, it's so inconspicuous.
it is, man. It's the reason why they're trying to eliminate
All those-
kickoffs
yeah.
and whatnot. That's when it happened. Yeah, it was on a kickoff,
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah.
But they do this thing where they all put so you can buy out. So everyone has it like as a group. So it's either the starting defense or the defensive line or the offensive line. And I've seen them do this on multiple occasions, but you can buy out. So you can just put $200 in the pot and be like, that's it, I'm done.
Yeah.
Or they'll all take out their credit cards and they put them in a hat. And then they have one of the servers, normally the prettiest girl, pull out a credit card. And then that person has to front the rest of the bill.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And it's nuts because the bills are not small.
No. You've seen some of those like viral posts about like the fucking like there was one I saw after some team won the Stanley Cup that was like $600,000.
Yeah, it's insane. Like we've never jacked it. I've never seen it jacked up that high.
Like I remember a few years ago, Courtney and Nick and I went to Top Golf, and it was like we're just gonna go have a good time at Top Golf, and Top Golf just like raped us over a barrel, dude. Like we spent like $400 just
for
having
real?
a good time at Top Golf,
Jesus.
because like you're renting the booths. you're having a good time. And they're like, you want a double? It's like, yeah, I want a double. Well,
Yeah.
I want a double. But you don't know that Jameson costs $10 a pour there, you know?
And then they charge you 20.
It's 20.
Because instead of doing a rocks pour, they charge you for 2 drinks.
The way I drink and the way I snack when I'm been ripping out of a dab pen the whole time I've been there. You know, me, Nick, and Courtney, like, we it set us back financially for, like, months. Like, it was just like, we're never going to Topgolf again. Yeah.
Yeah, those places can get... I remember when I was in college, I had gotten those credit cards. Like, you turn 18, 19, and they just start sending them to you.
Yeah, it's like, fuck it. This money will be here
And it's only
later
like a
because I'm in
$300
college. I'm going to be a wild success.
Yeah, exactly. But it's only
I'll
like
have
a
this
$300
money.
limit.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you get this in St. Augustine with Flagler College being right there. I'm sure you get college kids that come in and think they're going to like ball out of control.
It's so funny is the thing it is because, you know, a lot of times, which I'm sure you identify with as a service industry worker, people that you wait for, bartend for, all think that they are so much more intelligent than you are.
Oh, yeah.
They'll tell you, you know, like, it's like, I want a Tito's and soda with a splash of crayon and a lime. And it's, do you not think that I've made that 5,000 times before for every white bitch that's come in here? Like, it's like, I know exactly. I could literally finish your sentence before you're done.
Yeah.
Like, I want a Tito's and soda with a splash of crayon and a lime.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Got it.
Coming up. Yeah.
We have, I think I've told this story before, but I think you could appreciate this. I've had guests before, like, not even hide it. Like, we'll get to talking, and I'll be like especially if football comes up or something, you know me. I mention it in every set. I always have to mention it. So I'll be like, yeah, I played college football.
Yeah.
And then we'll start talking, and then...
You have to mention your life with any guest. You know, it's where you make connection. That's where you make
you build rapport.
Fucking tips.
Actually,
So.
that's where you get that money. Yeah.
Like,
every time
when they
they'll
know
be
you
able
on
to-
a personal level, they want to take care of you.
Yeah,
yeah.
because you feel like you're
And that's
friends
how
at
you
that
run
point.
the game, motherfuckers.
That's how we do it. But they inevitably, not always, but every once in a while, especially if it's older women, they always go, "Oh my God, you went to school?" And I go, "Yeah, I actually have 2 degrees." And then they go, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like, "We are not. We don't know each other like
one
that."
of my favorites to tell people is I'm like I've literally had people ask me as a bartender, when are you going to go back to school? Because I dropped out of school with about a semester left of college, which was kind of stupid. But in retrospect, the thing I always tell them is I'll go back to school when my buddies that I went to school with are making more money than I am right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
what I always do, I get them in their soul. I
Yeah.
look at them and I go, well, I'm pursuing my dream of stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
And this schedule,
I can do that on the side too,
Yeah.
which I have 3 days off a week, which is
Yeah.
cool. I mean, I have a son now, so that's a lot of that time is dedicated to him. I don't get to go to all the open mics I used to go to, but I can use that time for experience, for writing, and for
Yeah,
having
absolutely.
my time. You know.
Yeah,
So,
I always hit him with that. I always go, I'm pursuing my dream.
yeah.
And then I look right at him and I go, you know, so many people just grow up and play it safe.
Yeah.
Get a regular job.
Exactly.
And then they die and no one remembers them.
and shit on everybody else's dreams.
Yeah.
That's their pastime.
But it's
Yeah.
so much fun to like really look at people in the eye and be like, yeah, you're like the 10th businessman I've seen tonight. I won't remember you. Like,
Yeah.
who are you?
Because you're at dinner after you went to work.
Yeah, like, who
go
cares?
Home, go home, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's also weird too because I've waited on, and the listeners know this. I used to wait on Tony Khan, the Shad's son, and it's weird because you know he's a billionaire and he's one of the nicest people I've ever waited on. And I'm sure you get this too working in bars, and then you get people who make a couple $100,000 a year.
Yeah, so I've had Bortles. Yeah, I've had I had Tim Tebow one time. Not at the bar, but in our restaurant.
Okay.
Tim Tebow didn't come to the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
We'll make that very
He's
clear
got a
on the
reputation to uphold. Nobody could take a picture of Tim Tebow at the bar.
Yeah,
He's fucked.
that would.
Yeah. But yeah, he was in our restaurant. But sorry, go ahead.
No, but I was just saying a lot of those people that are not only public spotlight or not, but people who are like exceptionally like well off are normally super nice.
Yeah.
And it's the people who are like a few tiers below that make a very comfortable living, but they want to like show off. Those are always the dicks.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's so weird because it's like I know someone who could like buy and sell you, and he's nice, and you're an asshole. Like this doesn't make any sense.
Jags front, another one. When I worked at Caps, this was like one of the like shining moments of my like high school hood. I was like 18 working at Caps on the Waterfront in St. Augustine as a busser. And Maurice Jones-Drew pulled up on a jet ski at the dock with 2 bitches on the back. And like they sat there and had lunch together and were like, it was very obvious that he was with both of them.
Yeah.
Like, that was the thing. And it was just like, as a 18-year-old busser, I was just like, I couldn't walk past the table without just like gawking the whole time. Like, oh my God, that's Maurice. And he was with 2 very exceptional looking ladies, but the whole time I was just staring at Maurice
That's
Jones-Drew.
MJD,
I was
baby.
like, that's my guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we also had David Garrard in a few times when I worked there, which was super cool.
Yeah, I've
'cause
been taking care of David for years now.
he's a Jags legend, man.
Yeah.
And people,
I don't care what anybody says.
people really sleep on how important he was to the team at the time. Because, I mean, Byron Leftwich, as much as people, love on him, he wasn't what we wanted him to be.
Yeah.
And David Garrard really picked up the slack for that, like, at the time, because we had a great team besides him.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a great defense. We had, our right receivers, but guys that went and got it. I mean, we had Reggie Williams was a bust a bit, but he still could go get the ball. We had Ernest Wilford, we had
God, you're like an
MJD.
encyclopedia.
Yeah, I love the Jags. I do. Yeah, I love sports. But yeah, at that point we had a squad, and it was nice that Garrard was able to step in and play such a positive role for us when Byron Leftwich really wasn't it for us.
Yeah,
and we traded up to draft him.
I know.
No, sorry. That was one of the craziest moments in draft history because the clock literally ran out on the Minnesota Vikings.
That's what happened, and they got skipped.
We drafted Byron Leftwich.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was what happened. And they needed a quarterback at that point, too, I believe.
Yeah.
I think they were teetering on it.
I think they always need a quarterback.
Yeah, they had that was when Culpepper was like on his way out, I think.
Yeah.
So, but
This episode's gonna be like all sports and comedy, and that's
I don't know. Yeah, I will give you one of my very favorite stories that I've been I don't know. I've been trying to figure out how to slice it in here all show, but this is just gonna be a no segue one. So when I was in college at UCF, I was making music a lot. I was doing hip hop music. I actually got some pretty good notice at a lot of points. Like I met some pretty important people. I met DJ Khaled. He was recording at the studio that I record at one time. We were together in the same studio. Definitely, got some solid notice and good plays out of it. But the coolest thing that ever happened to me when I was making music is related to sports. And also kind of getting fucked up. So I thought that I should talk about it.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I was at KDS Studios in Orlando one time.
Shouts out.
Yeah. And this was when I was going to UCF. And at that point, Michael Jordan's son, Marcus Jordan, was going to UCF. And he was also experimenting like with music. So one night him and AJ Ramsa, who was our point guard at that time, like they came through KDS Studios, and I went to games a lot, like when I was at UCF, like especially basketball games. Like I didn't go to a lot of the football games because like for me, I went to Gator games growing up.
Yeah,
going to UCF football games wasn't the same as going to Gator games to me. I was like, this is kind of cool, but it's like it's not 95.
Oh, trust me,
fans.
I played in the swamp. It's the fucking worst.
It's fucking different.
That's why I hate the Gators.
It's the toughest place to play in America.
They're like 10 feet off of the field. They're on top of you.
Yeah, they're in Death Valley are like the 2 toughest places to play in the nation to me. I didn't go to a lot of football games when I was at UCF. I went to a lot of basketball games because I thought that was fun. I got to see, and like Memphis played UCF a lot. Like I got to see Will Barton play when he was at Memphis. He hit a game winner against us one game when I went to, which like silenced our whole stadium.
Yeah.
But still on the inside, I was like, damn, this is going to be on SportsCenter later. That's really cool. Like, yeah. But like, yeah, Marcus Jordan played for us at that point. And at one point he came to KDS Studios when I was recording some music. Cause like I would go there, my engineer at that point, the guy that mixed all my tracks and did everything like that, worked at KDS Studios. So I would go there when there was no when there was nobody scheduled.
Yeah.
That would
so
be
when
like,
they
he
had
would
like open studio
he
time,
would be
you
like,
just-
you come in, record your shit. You know, if I have somebody come in, you just chill on the couch, hang out
Yeah.
while they do their shit, and then we'll get back to it after that. You know, that was our thing.
it's always
Well,
awesome having a
one
hookup
night
like that.
Marcus Jordan came in with AJ Ramsa, and I had been watching these guys play basketball for the last year, and it was just like nuts. And he's like looks at me and was like, do you smoke? And I was like, yeah, bro. And so like he's like, cool, I got a couple blunts, like let's smoke. And I was like, all right, cool, sounds good. So like me and him are like smoking blunts, and I had just like one of my biggest like high moments of all time. Like as Marcus Jordan like passed me the blunt, I just kind of looked at the tip of it and thought, oh my God, Michael Jordan's DNA is on this blunt. And I'm about to smoke it. Like the goats, this is that goat strain right here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh my
Like,
God. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Like that's all I could think about the whole time I was smoking the blunt. I was like just thinking of Michael Jordan highlights, like, oh my God. And then at one point, like he started like talking about LeBron. Like Marcus was like, yeah, man. He's like, everybody talking about LeBron. He's like, man, LeBron's not even on Kobe's level, man. Like he said something like that, and I was just like, oh my God, Michael Jordan's son is talking shit about LeBron in front of me right now. You know, just like
That's gotta be a surreal
I
experience.
was like, this is the craziest shit ever. Yeah, like
Damn.
it was blowing my mind at that point. And yeah, like another time, I met DJ Khaled in the same studio, and that one was kind of. So a good buddy of mine, I rapped with at the time. His name was David Smith. He goes by Slade as a rapper. He's awesome. If you want to check him out, Slade.
Shouts out Slade.
S with a $sign. Lucky Lutz too is another alter ego. Ego. What the fuck is that? Ego. But anyways, we were chilling, and DJ Khaled came by one night, and he like comes up to me and he's like, hey man, what's up? What's your name? And I was like, my name's Aaron, man. And he was like, Khaled. And just like shakes my hand.
Like, we know who you are.
And he goes in the studio and he's doing an intro for like my buddy who's from Orlando. His name was Slim Goody, and he's still making music too. Check out Slim Goody. But anyways, he's from Miami and Slim Goody's from Orlando, and his intro was just like, Miami, Orlando, link up. Nah, I don't like that. Bring it back real quick. And like that's how he was recording like the whole time. And like my buddy's like sitting beside me, just like keeps looking at me with these faces like, oh my God. Like, and he's just making me like crack the fuck up like the whole time. And I'm just trying to keep a straight face because I'm like, this is an important dude. If we get
Like,
a cool
don't fuck this
relationship,
up. Don't
like,
fuck this
like
up.
this could be a big deal for me. Like I gotta have a good relationship with DJ Khaled.
Yeah.
So-
Well, it's crazy too, because those intros in those songs are so
Bro,
iconic.
he paid him like over like I can't remember the figures, but it was over 4 figures, like just to do like the intro on his song. Like all he did was say like Miami, Orlando, like link up, we in the house, and that was it. Like he said like literally like just a few lines at the beginning of the song.
10 grand out the
That
door.
was it. Yeah. And it was like over 4. I won't say it was 10 grand, but it was like it was a good amount of money that he paid him for sure. It was more than I make in like a week at work for sure.
Yeah.
You know, which
just for a couple of minutes.
which isn't. I'm not shitting on myself. I do
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, you do. Yeah,
yeah.
you do well.
So, but DJ Khaled made that much for doing a 10-second intro
That
know?
you guys
So
were
he's-
laughing at the
he's-
whole time.
Yeah, and we were just like cracking up. We're making fun of him, but hey,
Yeah,
shit, this
that's-
man's making enough to pay my next month's semester at this point.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Damn. That's crazy.
my next month's semester. I've been out of college for a long time.
I
My
know what
next
you mean.
he's
Next-
he-
yeah,
next
I know what you
semester for a long
He it's weird too, because I mean we see it in comedy a lot where there's certain names that just like can show up somewhere, and like as far as like money and stuff, like they like we
if Dave Chappelle walked into Paper Route and was like, hey, let me do an hour, I'd be like, yeah, everybody else, you're not doing the show tonight. We got Dave Chappelle.
obviously. Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy though, because it's like
Like I was looking at I don't know. I've been listening to podcasts for so long, and I've heard comics talk about like doing commercial spots or doing voiceover spots.
Yeah.
And it's like stupid. Like the money, and it's not because they're a known quantity. It's just because that's what it's worth. And so like John Reap, I know, told the story about when he got the Dodge commercials, and he was doing the, hey, is that a Hemi? He's like, that paid for my house.
Yeah.
I was like, that's 5 commercials.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it paid for his house in LA. It's like nuts. It's between just the entertainment industry, the like once you make, that's why everyone tries so hard to make it, because once you make it, it's financially you're set. You good?
Yeah. I was checking on something. I was checking the time. My bad.
No, you're fine. I just wanted to make sure because like you said, you do have a baby, so I wanted to make sure everything was all right with that.
Sorry.
You and the very funny Courtney,
who
we're gonna get on the show in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I wonder if your son's gonna grow up to be a comic.
I mean, he definitely laughs at us so far, but it's not anything that's like. I mean, he's 9 months old, so we'll see.
Yeah,
he could. Everybody's like, "Oh, that's gonna be the funniest baby ever," and I just feel like they're cursing it. He's gonna grow up and just be like, like
square
Dwight from The Office.
Yeah,
like,
I'd be a fucking nerd.
Yeah.
Were you guys? Because I know you talk about it on stage.
Were you guys smoking pot today?
No, were you guys? Come on, if you guys know Aaron, that's not even a question. Were you nervous though about the baby thing? If you don't mind me asking.
Okay, so to tell you the truth, yeah, I mean, it was like when it happened, we definitely went through the whole, like talk about like what are we gonna do? Is this something that we're gonna go through with? Or, is this something that we want to, see what our options are? And we, we're both ready for it. Quotations ready for it.
Yeah.
And it got going. Courtney was about 7.5 months pregnant whenever COVID shut the entire world down.
I remember that. Yeah.
That was pretty nuts. We definitely had a huge freak out moment at that point, and it was like it was definitely scary, but we got through it, and everything, and it's definitely changed my life for sure. Like, I'm not saying that I am like I party less. I go out to the bars less, but I'm at home, I'm tasting things. I'm drinking things, I'm a bar manager now, so I'm trying different stuff out. My go-to is just taking stupid shots of Jameson all the time. It's like I'm a dive bar guy primarily, but I work at a crafty bar. But it's changed my life in a sense that it's tough, taking care of a kid for sure.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine.
It's the fun times are gonna make up for the tough times, like absolutely tenfold.
Yeah,
like for all the times that I can't get him to bed and he's crying and slapping me in the face and mad and yelling at me, it makes up for it tenfold when he wakes up first thing in the morning and I walk in there and he's just like super stoked, like
like what's up, Dad?
Yeah. So
that's awesome, man.
That's a cool part of it.
It's weird to think because I was down here a year ago when we were doing kind of like movie night when all this kind of stuff started happening because after a month of all of us
Baker
being
was here.
down.
Baker was here. He brought the Ray and nephew over. That overproof. That I'm gonna tell you straight up, as a bartender, somebody that knows liquor, Ray and Nephew is one of my favorite rums out there. And when Stephen Baker brought Ray and Nephew rum through our house, he jumped so many levels in my book. And it was hard for him too, because I love him so much already.
Yeah.
But like when I saw him with the bottle of Ray and Nephew in his hands, I was just like, oh my God.
Even better.
Stephen Baker.
Yeah.
You know me like no other.
You melted my heart.
Yes. Like you are so young and you already know that this is good rum.
Yeah.
Yes.
God, Baker, he crushed it at that show.
Man,
I mean, you guys all crushed it, but
I was so proud of him.
It was one of his first big headlining sets.
I can't lie. I was kind of ripping about him to his girlfriend, like messing with him.
Yeah.
Like a little bit. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah, but I love Stephen Baker. I do that to literally every single person that I've ever known in the entire world. If they're with their girlfriend, I'm gonna make fun of them to their girlfriend. That's how I do it.
That's just how you roll.
That's my MO. Yeah, but yeah, it was so much fun watching him do that set, man. And I don't know, he's awesome.
Yeah.
I love Stephen Baker to death, and it was cool going up there with Courtney and Nick, man, and having a show together.
Yeah, you guys, everybody was like, it was like the old day. Everybody was kind of rocking.
That was an awesome show. That
Yeah.
was a fun show. Brian really puts on a great show at Hyperion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The third Friday of every month. If anybody's listening in Jacksonville wants to come to that show.
Yeah, it's a super fun show. Hyperion's the shit.
But speaking of super fun shows, everyone keep an eye out for Paper Route to come back, because that is the showcase in St. Augustine. Plug everything one more time.
Yeah. So Paper Route definitely will be coming back soon. If you're looking for me, my comedy, upcoming shows, I'm on Facebook at Aaron Eades, Instagram at Eadstagram, EADES Tagram, and then Twitter, it's just my whole name backwards, Aaron Eades backwards, Sade Nora. There it is.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I appreciate you doing the show, man. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. I had a great time. Always great talking Jags, talking sports, talking whatnots.
Absolutely. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. Again, follow me on everything at Brennan T Comedy. Check out the website, brennantcomedy.com, for upcoming dates. Please pledge on Patreon and all that good stuff. Subscribe, rate, review. Talk to you all next week.
Jameson.